You're listening to the seventh inning stretch right here on VSN. Now to your hosts, Logan Stone and Josh Edwards.
Well, kind of. Logan Stone has failed to join us this evening, so I will be your main host. My name is Josh Edwards, and I'll be joined by Darren from Fat Boy Fadeaway and Ryan from BSing Sports. Gentlemen, I hope you've had a wonderful week. How y'all doing?
Been going good, Josh. I just feel like you here alone. We've classed it up just a little bit more as you the host. I'm honored to have you as the host this week. Thank you for hosting seventh inning stretch. It's just I feel lightened right now. I feel better. I feel more energized. It's good to have Ryan on too. I love Ryan. Followed him on the Twitter account. He's been all over baseball stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting this with you guys.
Yeah, I guess that's the perk to being a full-time student out of work right now is that I get all the immediate, updates and I'm the first one to respond. But good is not the word from Phillies Nation here that would describe how we're doing this week. It's definitely better than good. But hey, I wish I could say I was here to see your beautiful face, Josh, but you just have some generic logo, which makes me sad.
Well, I apologize for that. Hopefully my technical difficulties will be resolved here soon. Logan's supposed to be sending me a new computer because mine crashed. So that's why I'm mobile and you guys just get my screen face today. I don't even know if you guys can see it. I can see it on my end. But definitely I'm sure Ryan's got the most to be happy about and proud of and excited for. Let's hope the Phillies don't burn down and let us all down with the excitement we're anticipating this next season. Darren's going to have plenty of hot takes for us, I'm sure. And I'll have some things to complain about like Logan would. And on Logan's behalf, I'll have something positive to say somewhere here and there. So, guys, winter meetings, we're going to do a wrap-up right now. Who wants to go first? And what's your biggest signing, biggest disappointment, and what are you looking forward to most going into the next season?
I think we got to let the star of the show go, Ryan. You got to go.
Yeah. So I'll take the lead. Thank you. First off, the Phillies. I mean, I'm gonna say they get one of the best grades at winter meetings, if not the best grade. I'll let outside opinions determine the difference between that. But I mean, Trea Turner at $27 million a year is for the next 11 years is a steal. In my opinion, I think that he's going to provide such an impact at the top of the lineup. And thank God I don't have to see Rhys Hoskins bat in the 2-hole anymore for the rest of my life, like at all ever again. That's the best part about this signing is I will not have to see Rhys Hoskins bat in the 2-hole ever again. Like that just resonates, rolls right off the tongue. He's going to be in the 7-hole, the 8-hole, somewhere down at the bottom of the lineup where he belongs. But no, Trea Turner is going to provide just dynamic middle infield duo with him and Bryson Stott for years to come. Biggest shock for me, though, was I thought Josh Bell was going to take advantage of the fact that he had a much better season, than a lot of people anticipated. And he really didn't cash in the way that I thought he would, only on a 2-year deal. So I thought for sure that he was going to sign some kind of long-term contract somewhere. But I guess because he chose the Guardians and they're not really known for doing stuff like that, that's kind of how that unfolded. But
it's funny you said that about the Turner deal because we were talking before with him when we were doing the preview of it, and when we did that, it was like, okay, who's going to go first, Turner or Judge, right? I think we all both agreed Turner was, and when I did that, you guys were so confident Turner was going to go there. I was like, man, they must know something that like they are hearing stuff like, and it just seemed like he wanted to go to the East Coast, like you said, and because I think the Padres offered him more money. I believe that's what the report was.
It was more money. It was $341, but with California taxes, he'd have made less off of that deal. So, Turner came out and said that he wanted to play out east. And Bryce Harper, a guy that you signed a massive contract to, so you kind of allude to the wants and needs of him, comes out and says that Trea Turner's his favorite player in the MLB. You can connect the dots at that point. So Bryce Harper, assistant GM of the Philadelphia Phillies, strikes again after landing JT Realmuto and now Trea Turner and Taijuan Walker.
I thought I would, because I want to ask you, do you think I saw that there were some mock lineups where they would have Schwarber batting 1. Do you think he would bat? Turner would go to 1? I just would think he would, but maybe I'm wrong about that because of Schwarber's on base percentage at 1.
At full strength, it'll probably be Schwarber 1, Turner 2, Harper 3, just to get lefty, righty, lefty.
Yeah.
But I mean, until the All-Star game when Harper comes back, it's I could see it going either way. I do think ultimately Schwarber stays in the 1 spot. One of his, conditions for coming to Philadelphia was that he bat in the leadoff spot. He's comfortable there. He likes being there, and he's not a bad leadoff hitter. He sees a lot of pitches. He draws a ton of walks. So I mean, you could flip flop them though. The I guess diversity you have with those two is it just provides a great asset. There's nothing bad about this signing. I mean, a lot of Phillies fans are out here because they're Philadelphia fans. They have like 3 brain cells. None of them operate at the same time. They're like 11 years for a 30-year-old guy who relies on his speed. Who cares about 11 years from now? This is a team that just made the World Series, and they were, a couple pieces short that they just went out and got. We're talking about trying to win now. Too much can happen in between now and 11 years. He could retire, 6 years into the contract. Just don't worry about 11 years from now.
And Turner's not just any player. I mean, he's a beast. So, if you're getting, the elite top of the lineup guy, I just think that's a great deal. The deal I had, the 2 deals I had that were a little, just talking about was Judge, obviously, for me, going to the Giant, going back to the Yankees, was a match. Just the whole thing out here in the Bay Area was, you guys, with John Heyman, when he tweeted that, I swear I had guys texting me right away like, we got him. And
Arson Judge, baby.
It was so hilarious. Just that thing. That was good too, by the way. I just thought that was so funny. The Judge thing with the Yankees and just that mystique of that franchise is the Giants again. They just can't close a deal. It's a big thing out here with them. They've had the Harper chance. They had the Stanton chance. Now they had. They missed out on a lot of big free agents. And then you mentioned Bell. I thought that was a good signing for the Guardians for that cheaper price. I was I'm surprised he didn't get more. But the one to me that is Bogart's 11 years. I mean, don't get me wrong, an unreal player, and I agree with what you say to a certain extent. But man, he's gonna be 42 at the end of the deal, and I don't know. That's just kind of blew my mind. At the end of the day, was how big a contracts these owners are giving out to baseball players.
The other tie to the Bogarts thing is, what are you doing with Tatis? I mean, you signed Bogarts to be the shortstop. What are you doing with? You have a DH spot, but obviously this guy's a problem in your locker room, and obviously he's lost all the respect of his teammates. What are you doing with him? Who's going to take him? Especially because you already signed him to a massive contract too.
They've been trying him at outfield, right before he got hurt. That's what I thought. So my guess is that's where they'll try to get him back out. But you're right. To me, it's a massive trade chip for them if he doesn't shape up at the very beginning. It's hey, we got Bogarts, but Machado's a free agent, right? Or he can option out. Is that's what I read
at the end? Next season the Padres have Machado coming off. I know Snell and Darvish are off, and I think they have one more starter that comes off the books next year too.
Yeah, so that to me kind of will change things too with them. That's a lot of change possibility happening right there too. I'm surprised they didn't go. And it's funny with them too because they made the biggest offer for Judge. Again, tax. I get all that too, but it's just funny that it's where the heck did they get all this money from, the Padres?
The Padres with the Bogart signing might have saved themselves the biggest loser tag of winter meetings, but they definitely still lost winter meetings. I mean, to miss out on Judge and Turner and have to quote unquote settle for Bogarts. The other shocking thing was that all these dudes signed in winter meetings. I mean, if you look at the most recent free agency periods, you look at Harper, who signed in spring training. You look at a lot of your top tier free agents, they were waiting out to see if they could get max dollars. And with how deep the shortstop market was, I thought for sure when Turner signed for $27 a year, I was the next shortstop that signs is getting 30. I was it's going to happen. The shortstops were waiting around for one person to sign, and then they were going to start doing, well, I'm this more than him, and they were going to start doing all kinds of stuff. So I was kind of surprised that, half the big name shortstops and Judge all signed so early in the offseason.
Definitely a lot different than it was before. It was funny because we're obviously Logan was going to come up. We were going to do this, Josh, and I'm just curious, what do you think about the Cardinals? I always thought Logan, when he said Trea Turner, I just thought that was so far fetched out of the way that you guys do business as a franchise. I mean, what do you think about what the Cardinals? They missed out. I mean, I know there's that Swanson and Correa still out there. What do you think about the Cardinals with the shortstop spot?
So the whole thought that St. Louis got hyped up about Turner was because Greg Amsinger on MLB Network said that he was coming. And, everybody got really excited. I think a lot of us who understand how ownership in St. Louis works knew that it was a long shot. But, when Amsinger says it, you gotta listen a little bit. I never really bought into it on a personal note. I was hopeful that with Arenado not opting out, he had that conversation with Mo and DeWitt and Marvel that, hey, if I want to stay, you guys are going to spend money. I want to win World Series, da-da-da. So I thought maybe there was a little bit of push there with the season that Goldie had last year. I thought, you know what, there's a chance. It could happen. They might go spend money. But, I mean, in the back of my mind, I never really bought into Trea Turner coming to St. Louis. I thought it would have been nice. It definitely would have helped Logan say more nice things about the Cardinals. But, now he's going to be a Phillies fan for the next 11 years, and he'll own a Phillies Turner jersey, and it'll be what it is. And, I don't want Dansby Swanson. I mean, that's just a dude who I don't think he's going to – I think it'll be a bad contract. I think a year into it, St. Louis fans will be super bad if they sign Swanson, which I don't think it's in the cards now because there's not enough money there with the Contreras signing, so don't get me started with that signing.
I was going to ask about that.
We'll get there. I'm sure we will. But I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they can find a way to get Jose Iglesias now. To me, that's he's what I would consider a tier 2 shortstop. Maybe we can get him on a deal if Arenado and Goldie go talk to him. Maybe we can just a 1-year prove a deal or 1 year come see what you think of the place and see if you like playing here or deal. But when it comes to shortstop, I doubt the Cardinals do anything. I bet they move Edman over and they play Donovan at second. But that's how I feel about it. I mean,
yeah,
it's a lost cause in my opinion. The Cardinals are going to win the division and get bounced in the first round again.
How do you feel about that, Wilson? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you feel about that Wilson Contreras signing? I mean, it's $17.5 million a year, I guess, for the top catcher on the market. It's not really that bad of a deal when you look at the fact that Real Muto gets 23.5.
So I have to look at this on a personal note. I have to look at it from two different spectrums or two different sides of the spectrum. As a Cardinals fan, I absolutely hate it. He's a Cub. He's always been a Cub. As of late, Cub players coming to St. Louis don't work out. They tend to burn out, and they're a waste of money. I don't like Contreras. Also, as a Cardinals fan, this is probably the only bright spot as a Cardinals fan. Contreras had Yachty's respect. So that softens the blow slightly for me. From an analyst point of view on the spectrum, yeah, it's not a bad deal. Do I like the term on it? Absolutely not. I think 5 years is way too long for a guy who probably won't even be behind the plate 90 to 100 games a year. I think that's what makes me the most mad. I would have been happy to deal for Sean Murphy, but after seeing what the A's wanted for Sean Murphy, I understand why Mo didn't, because I really don't want to give up Donovan and Newbar. I had no problem giving up Gorman. I had no problem giving up Burleson. Basically, as long as prospect-wise it wasn't Walker or Wynn, I would have given up basically any prospects or a combination of prospects we were needed to give up. And as long as it wasn't Donovan or Newbar, I was okay giving up any of our young MLB players. So, I see why they didn't do it.
A's are cracked out right now. I hate to keep going back to the Philly guy, but JT Realmuto is kind of the most recent, like, big time catcher trade and then extension to look at. And the Phillies only gave up one top prospect and then another guy that's never going to make it to the major leagues pretty much. So for the A's to be asking for all that for Sean Murphy, who is a good catcher, but not anywhere near what Realmuto was coveted at the time that he was, available on the trade market, is insane. So I can't imagine that he leaves Oakland until they come down on that price.
No, I completely agree with you. Even their GM came out and said, we may trade him, we may not. We can keep him for the next 18 months. So as soon as I heard that, I was kind of like, all right, screw it. I honestly would have been more thrilled if we would have gone after Alejandro Kirk or Moreno out of Toronto. But with Contreras, we can keep him for 2 years. When Ivan is ready to go, Herrera, excuse me, I'm sorry. I am battling a sinus infection for anybody listening right now, so I sound off and having trouble breathing. When Ivan Herrera is ready to go, we can trade Contreras for whatever we need to trade him for, especially if he's not working out. Now, if Contreras comes out and he hits, I'm still a component of batting average. If he hits 275 with 100 OPS or plus OPS and 125 OPS plus, and he's playing good defensively and he's not causing havoc within the starting rotation, the bullpen, then, maybe I'll soften to it. But I don't know. I'm not impressed with Contreras. Yeah, he's got a good arm, but he doesn't handle the pitching staff well. There's a big reason why nobody wanted to make the deal with Chicago at the trade deadline last year for him. So I'm sour on it at this point. But like I said, if Mo goes out and gets somebody like Jose Iglesias, or they go get another left-handed bat, I'll keep my mouth shut and not complain too much.
I always feel like with replacing Molina, I always feel like that's where, that's right. Again, Logan's on it. I always feel like he's too harsh on Molina. I just feel like he was so clutch in his career. It was like one of the, for me, just watching from afar, he was always he was there and he was so important from a background. So I'm with you on Contreras. To me, that's kind of a flyer pick. It's the Cardinals, so I'm kind of taking it a little bit more serious. If it was another franchise, maybe a little bit different feeling towards it, but maybe they have a way of getting a little bit more out of people than some other teams. So I'm curious to see how that back to Murphy, obviously being an A's fan, that's part of the thing I was following going into it. They have 3 years of control left on him. That's part of the reason I think they're just off. That's part of the deal is with them. And he was a Gold Glove. They're using that to that advantage. I agree. He's not worth all that. I haven't seen his hitting ability, but last year he did hit so much better than I ever thought he was capable of. So I'd be curious if the A's trade him come the deadline, though. Can I ask you guys about the DeGrom and all the Verlander stuff real quick? Remember, hey, I called it DeGrom to the Rangers.
Yeah, you said that, but I mean, DeGrom didn't get no $45 million a year.
That I didn't. I was wrong. Yeah. I was wrong. But
Verlander almost ended up in the shoes you thought DeGrom was going to end up in.
I was. How much did DeGrom end up getting? It was like $2. It was like $3.
It's $37 million a year. So it was
5 years, 186, I think.
I still say if I was another team that wanted him, I would have been gone for 3 years. I would have been not afraid to go to 40. I mean, some of these other contracts, I would have took my at least with him. But I thought that contract, the Rangers, it's hard for me to ever trust them a little bit with some of their signings. Like it doesn't necessarily result in wins. And now DeGrom going to a team like Texas, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about that one yet. He's so good, but Texas has this history of not really producing unreal pitchers in their ballpark as well. Can DeGrom overcome that part of it? You would think because of his stuff, but I don't know. Curious to get your thought on it, Ryan.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like when the Rangers went out and signed Corey Seager a couple years ago, it was an odd signing at the time because they gave, a young star player massive amounts of money on a team that was just going to be habitually awful if they stayed pat the rest of the time. So you kind of could have predicted that they were going to, shell some money out at this point. I don't know how I feel about giving almost 36-year-old Jacob DeGrom 5 years with his recent injury history, but it could work out. He does have the nastiest stuff in the league. As a Phillies fan, I saw it, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. So the stuff is there. I think it's worth the investment because at this point, the Rangers had to do something else.
Yeah, that's the thing too with the Rangers. They're never afraid to spend on guys like that. They're like, kind of towards the end of their.
It doesn't always work out.
Yeah, no, their history. That's why for me, it's like it's like the fact that he went there always kind of throws me off a little there. I thought Verlander to the Mets was a decent save on their part. He had still, like you said, he got $45 million. It's a shorter term deal. It's kind of interesting to me that you got Verlander and Scherzer back together. They signed the lefty from the Pittsburgh and St. Louis, Quintana.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if they re-sign Bassett as well. If they re-sign Bassett, maybe you lost DeGrom, but Verlander's not the worst get as your backup there. So I don't know.
No,
I think they had to go get
AL
Verlander. I don't think they had a choice. I think their fans would have roasted them for losing DeGrom and not going and getting somebody of Verlander's caliber. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves in this, and then I hate to say this, but we may be looking at a Tom Brady situation with Verlander. He may give you 3 or 4 more really good years pitching. Even though he's going to lose velocity, he still can place the ball where he wants it. He's got sick stuff still. And that Tommy John surgery he had may extend his career, which is not common, but it could happen. I mean, we could literally see a Tom Brady situation in baseball with Justin Verlander.
It's possible. I mean, there's no signs of aging with the 1.75 ERA he just had, an AL Cy Young award at 40 years old.
Right. So,
what's going to happen
if
if you talked about it earlier, Josh? I don't know if we were live or not, but the Mets payroll is going to be close to $400 million, which is obviously going to be an astronomical record. What if the Mets don't win the World Series? Like they have to like win a playoff series at this point. Like there's no way that they can't. What if you're Steve Cohen and you just look around and like you spend $400 million to lose in the first round of the playoffs again?
So Steve Cohen came out and said that his goal when he took over the team was to win a World Series within 5 years. This is year 3. He is going all in, and he is doing everything he thinks is right to put a winning team together. I don't care how much money you spend on a team, frankly. I don't care if your payroll is $150 million or $400 million. If there's not chemistry and the guys don't get along in the locker room, it ain't going to freaking matter anyways. You can win 100 games, but when the playoffs come down, your back's against the wall. If there's no team chemistry there, you're not going to finish the job. I think, because I'm not a big New York fan on a personal level, I think it would be hilarious if they get bounced in the first round. But I see this team on paper, there's no way they don't go to the NL pennant game. And if they don't make it to the World Series, New York fans may be calling for his head for wasting all the money and not getting things done. I mean, if Scherzer's hurt all season again this year, if Verlander somehow gets hurt and his career ends, I mean, you have so much money tied up in those 2 players alone. You just blew apart your rotation. Like, there's no way they're going to succeed and continue on. Not to mention, they just overpaid Brandon Nimmo within the last 2 hours, an 8-year, $162 million deal with an NTC. He got a no trade clause in his contract. Dude.
Oh my God!
Like, what are GMs doing right now? I have no freaking idea. The economy, and not to be like the whole world view here, but let's be real. With the prices that players or with the money players get to get paid in these upcoming years, the economy is not getting any better. People are not going to be able to go to games and buy as much food and as much beer and pay for parking and buy all the extra jerseys and those T-shirts and the hats and everything like they could in the past. Where are owners coming up with this money? I just don't know. And eventually it's going to hit a wall and there's going to be a cap. Or not a cap, but there's going to be a ceiling that gets hit at some point. And only the big market teams are going to be able to compete. You're going to literally push out anybody who's in the smaller mid-sized market teams.
That's the downside to the no hard salary cap.
I just can never see a world where the players' union agrees to it. It's just
no way.
Do it. They got the best deal out of all the athletes. Why would they give that up? Well, there's just no right. I just can't. I mean, look at you got guys like you said, Brandon Nimmo making how much a year? I mean, I'm not trying to rip. It's just hard to believe that he, you know what I mean? It's just come a long ways. Like, because the Judge thing, it made me think about the Bond signing, which was 25 years ago. He got the highest contract at the time in 1992, 6 years, like $42.5 million. It's like, well, inflation's got up a bit. Judge made that in one season. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, Nimmo only hit 16 home runs last year, so if he does that again, he's getting paid more than $1 million per home run, which in today's MLB is just absolutely insane.
He can't be more than a one-time All-Star. Is he two-time All-Star? He can't. I just don't think of him as like that type of player.
No,
like
he hit I think he hit 264 last year. His OP, he's a doubles guy. Does anybody else see a Logan?
What?
What the heck is going on?
Hey, why is it so bright in there? Are you in heaven? Did you die?
Yeah, that I'm not gonna lie. That bender I took about when Trea Turner signed with the Phillies, it led me to some weird places. No,
Well,
I'm sorry.
we're going to welcome Logan as a guest on our show this evening. Welcome, Logan Stone, to the 7th-inning stretch. It's nice for you to join us.
Yeah, sorry about that. I've been nursing this cough, and I've been having some really bad asthma attacks, and so I'm at an apartment with my mother. It's with the venue that we own, and she decided to take my phone, and my alarm went off, and she was like, "Oh, well, Logan doesn't need it," and Logan does need it, mother. Anyways, Mama knows best. I love you.
Tell your mom we said hi.
Yeah, so it's not my fault, I promise. But I did have a good nap, so I'm ready to start the show now. Let's start fresh now. Okay, let's go. No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys for covering for me while I was gone. We have 5 viewers right now, which is 5 more than we typically have. So once you remove Logan from the show, everything gets better.
Well, actually, Darren opened up with that when we started.
Okay.
All right,
Darren is
that's
fired.
our show for the evening.
Yeah,
Logan,
right.
thanks for joining us today.
Live well and watch some damn baseball. Take care, guys.
Live well. Shut up.
Josh, thank you. Play do it on there. We were just talking about some of the we talked on the Cardinals a little bit. You got any? Obviously, you want to get into that, right?
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Brandon Nimmo just re-signed with the Mets.
We already covered all
we've been
that.
talking
Okay.
about how
the show, man. Come on.
ridiculous.
I did hear you guys talk about Steve Cohen and how he needs to get bucked down. So I was able to listen to that while I was setting up. Yeah, it is weird. The Mets kind of like within like not even a full day started playing from behind. Like they started off the day getting Verlander, and then like the Phillies got Trea Turner. Then they got they got Taiwan Walker. They got a couple other smaller pieces, right? Or am I just...
They signed the other one was Matt Strahm.
Yeah, and I mean they've just been playing from behind, and it's just weird to me. How they kind of let a couple of players slip through. They're not in the shortstop market, which I doubt they will be in. They really aren't in the pitching market. They got Verlander and they got Quintana. I was surprised they didn't go after Rodon. Is there a reason why Rodon hasn't been signed?
Hasn't worked a deal with the Yankees yet.
Darren, you're muted.
Yeah.
I said, who's the agent for him? Isn't it the big boy?
Is it
Boris?
Scott Boris.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I want to talk about real quick is are we surprised by how little money Trea Turner signed for and how little money Aaron Judge signed for?
I think Judge's was pretty good. Like, in all honesty, just based on the outfield market. I mean, Trout makes 36.5 million a year, I think. So I think 40 million is probably about market pace. I was a little shocked that Turner went for less than 30, but that's just kind of it. You know, he wanted to be a Philly, it sounds like. So
Yeah, he was itching for that. And
Hold on, somebody else is here now. Somebody else is late to the party.
no, he was supposed to be late.
Oh.
Hey!
What's
leave
up,
me
dude?
alone right now. Hey, I can say this: my GM is better than Joe Biden. We didn't trade a little women's basketball player for an arms dealer. And if that offends you, you're a pussy. I'm sorry.
Logan, if you need filled in, I'll fill you in after the show.
Oh, of course you're gonna fill me in later, Josh.
We
Oh
just had a
man.
conversation about this
no,
topic.
he made the joke. You might as well tell him what happened.
Oh God.
So Biden traded a mass arms dealer for Brittany Griner and left a Marine in Russian prison. Now, in
He
all
was
clarity,
nicknamed the Merchant of Death.
yes, the Merchant of Death. The Marine that he left in Russian prison and didn't put in the deal was dishonorably discharged and was picked up on espionage charges. But still, he gave away a guy who wants to kill Americans and back to Russia.
Well, I'm glad I spent my time on a bender and not following
Hey,
politics.
we got NBA basketball player.
Oh, it's not here, Tyler.
Uh-oh.
I got him. Good.
Tyler died on us?
He might have died.
He froze.
Anyways. Oh.
He'll be back.
Tyler's like 6 hours north. We live in the Bay Area. He for some work he went like all the way up to like close to Oregon, like all the way up there. So he's in some like
Yeah, why am I
Timbuktu area.
muted?
You're
No.
not muted.
No.
I think we got
Nope.
to lose him.
Oh.
I wish
There we
that
go.
would have been a better reaction. Like, yo, why the fuck am I fucking muted? Like, yeah, and he's not muted. You know, he's just going on this tangent and he's not actually muted.
I'm gone for 30 minutes, and all of a sudden we're talking about Joe Biden and Brittany Griner. And, you know, this is exactly what
wasn't
I
us.
expect whenever I.
That was
I
totally
don't show.
Tyler.
Oh, was it? Oh, I thought it was Josh. I was like, Josh, you motherfucker.
Nope.
Anyways, I love Joe Biden. Anyways, I don't even know what we need to.
I kind of wanted to talk about some of the guys that were still out there.
I want to bless you, Logan, into Phillies fandom. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we need
Listen,
to.
they
need to handle
signed
that.
Taiwan Walker, who I've been trying to get to go to the Cardinals for 3 years now, who I think is a very underrated pitcher. And they signed Trea Turner, who, you know, he's cool, whatever. No, I'm kidding. I
Don't
love
lie.
Trea
You
Turner.
already ordered your jersey.
Oh, I was like, I'm gonna kill Trea Turner or John Mozeliak, and then they were like, well, no matter what, Trea Turner was signing with the Phillies. Have you guys talked about Bogarts yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We covered all the
'Cause-
big ones.
And I don't know if you talked about it, so if you have, then just shut me up and I'll move on to another question. Were you guys surprised? Did it feel like it wasn't really a negotiation, like it was more of the Padres were just desperate to get a player, and they just met with Xander and said, whatever you want, we'll give it to you, and that's it? Because 11 years is a lot of money to be given to, or a lot of years to be given to a player. Like signing someone until he's 41 when he's, he's good, but he's not.
Can I ask
the
a question
greatest.
real quick?
Yeah.
I am unaware. Who is the Padres' second baseman?
It's Jake Cronenworth, but he's going to be moving to first. And they
Okay,
say
so
and they're
Cronenworth's
saying
going
that-
to first. Bogarts will go to second because that was already the plan because he's getting old.
Well-
Fernando Tatis will stay short.
well, no, because that's what I was saying is like Han Sung Kim, I think, is going to play second, and he's going to or Bogarts is going to play short. And they were saying that Tatis is going to play left field.
That
And
works too.
I was like, well, okay. I mean, I guess that's much more safe than having him play center field because
He gets
there's
hurt.
going to be a lot of in the park home runs if you let Tatis play center. But anyways, that just shocked me. It seemed like the Padres were just desperate to go out and get a player, and by any means necessary, and it just came out of left field. Maybe I'm wrong.
I
Oh, I
agree
agree
with
with
you
you.
because they missed out on Judge, they missed out on Turner. I think that that they kind of reached a little bit for whoever they could get.
Which, I mean, if you're going to reach for whoever you can get, Xander Bogarts isn't a bad guy to reach for.
Yeah,
The
no, not at
contract
all.
may not be pretty, but the player's he's a hell of a player.
But Darren, you wanted to talk about the free agents that are still left?
Well, I just thought that we hadn't got that. I just
Yeah.
thought Correa was such an interesting piece still out there, and I heard like some stuff today that like some people GMs were saying that he might be or some reporters were saying he might be the best offensive player, not just left, but he was the best player available in free agency. I don't buy that. And then I do think, and the thing with him is like I feel like he's going to try to play for that Turner contract. But I just don't think a team's going to give it to him like that. I think he's going to get more of the 3-year massive deal. I know the Giants, like I'm serious, like their fan base is pissed. Like it's not something that's just like a little bit ready to go. Like, they're unhappy about it because they usually, for the most part, before last year, have sold out the ballpark. their GM has really not done that much in terms of acquiring people. He's done a good job with these like C-level players to get the most out of them, like maybe on short-term deals, but like they get Mitch Haniger, and like to me that's an A's signing. Like that's not a Giants signing. If you're a real team, that's not a real championship contending team. And like I just to me that's I'm just curious what the Giants do with Correa. Like they have to do something. Their fan base will revolt.
Tyler,
Sounds like I
you're a
came back
Giants
at the
fan.
perfect timing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He teed that right off for you.
Let me get into this first. I'm not a big Judge guy, but the Giants need a superstar. It's embarrassing that they come in second place in everybody who comes available. Soto, they could have got if they were willing to give up the right assets, which I don't mind. That one didn't hurt me. But Bryce Harper at 27 years old, give him what he fucking wants. His team makes money hands over fist. And to give nobody anything, and then we let Judge, obviously I don't blame him for leaving the Yankees. You want to be put on that wall. It's easier to be a Yankee for the rest of your career. Because the Giants, if he hit 45 home runs the next year, people would be like, oh, he didn't do what he did in New York, which he wasn't going to do again. It just was a spectacular season. But the Giants just need to bring somebody in to bring them to this ballpark. It's the best ballpark in the stadium within a square mile of it. But if you go outside that square mile, it's a fucking disaster. You look at I did a job in San Francisco. There were people doing meth by my work truck, just hiding behind my work truck. It's a terrible city. It's disheartening. I don't know where I'm at. I'm very frustrated. They don't ever bring anybody in who's worth a damn. They bring in Mitch Haniger. But then you see Brandon Nimmo getting 8 years, $162 million. You go, yeah, he's not worth that.
Yeah.
You're an idiot to pay somebody like that $162 million. So I get it. I'm frustrated. They haven't brought anybody in since Darren posted a Barry Bonds Twitter post trolling Giants fans, clearly. And I'm like, fuck you. This is it's just frustrating being a Giants fan. We haven't, our three hitters, Wilmer Flores. I'm at a loss. I love the Giants. I always will, but I don't know what to do. I wish we offered Turner 360.
Yeah, do that.
Can we talk about how Logan showed up late and the first thing he did was shit on the Nimmo contract, and then Tyler in his rant somehow also found a way to shit on the first thing people are talking about is what the fuck were the Mets doing?
I definitely wasn't shitting on it.
I'm shitting on it.
I'm shitting
yeah, no. I honestly I saw he re-signed with the Mets, and I didn't see how long, and I saw 162 million, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. And then that was about it. So I wanted to see if you guys saw that. But honestly, kind of in a mixture of Tyler's point and what Darren has been trying to talk about is I'm surprised that Giants aren't going after Brandon Drury. He's a third baseman who can play all positions in the outfield. I think he can play second also. And I swear, he just screams Giants. He's got that versatility on him, and I would want him.
You say that because he's not a superstar, and that's Tyler's point. Is they're not getting the guys they aren't producing farm system guys. You got to do what the Phillies did at some point. You got to get a guy like Harper to make your team legit and have people actually respect you. And I think that's the issue with the Giants is we won 107 games with this lineup and Farhan getting robot guys in there.
Oh yeah, I understand. Why
are the Padres being able to get better players than us? It's the fucking Padres. They've never been better.
Because it's a better city, just like you said.
Whoa. I mean, that is true. I have seen the guy in the back of his truck cooking meth when I was in San Francisco, and if I wasn't with a friend, I would. Anyways, but it was definitely I understand it, and it was weird because that was all they wanted, and for the longest time, and I don't think it was really the Giants' fault. It seemed like
I agree
100%. They were getting Aaron Judge. There was no way that Aaron Judge was going anywhere else except for the Giants. And then at the last minute, it was just I just want to be a Yankee, and that's it. And I'll even take a little bit of a pay cut I think, because he was offered more money by the Padres and by the Giants. And, I mean, so it's hard for me to – but it's like you got to kind of move on. And I feel like Correa would actually work well with the Giants organization. But I don't know if he's someone that you can really build your team around. Isn't he what?
Doesn't he sound like he's going to end up on the Cubs or like some big market
Probably.
that he has no chance of winning this year? He just seems like a Cub to me.
I'm surprised he's not an Oriole yet.
The Giants will never sign a player.
Orioles and Mariners were quiet. But yeah,
let's talk about this real quick. The Angels are on a spending spree for a franchise whose owner is selling the team. They went out and they bought in everybody, and Shohei Ohtani is the real winner of all these people getting all this money. He's watching Aaron Judge get $40 million and Justin Verlander get 43. The floor is now set for Ohtani to get $45 million a year.
I bet it's closer to 50.
Yeah, that's like the floor. So he's going to break the bank, and that franchise is spending a ton of money already. So I'm just shocked that Artie Moreno's gone out and spent the money just to sell the team. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but
it's going out swinging, I guess. Going out swinging. They're weird. Like, what was it? Hunter Renfroe they got, and then who was the other guys they got? Ryan, I missed maybe some of them.
Tim Anderson, not Tim Anderson.
They got a Tyler Anderson from LA.
Yeah. Okay, so they've especially for a team selling. The A's finally did. They spent some money. I thought we were going to be the first team to spend $0 in free agency. We did sign a player, Elmas Diaz. Yes, Cardinals fans, you will remember him from his All-Star performance. He will probably be garbage for us. So, good job.
He did all right in Houston.
Yeah.
He wasn't great, but he was all right.
Ryan didn't mind seeing him up the bat. Sure.
It's funny. I know Aledmus Diaz because in Aaron Nola's second start in the World Series, if he hadn't come up to bat twice, it'd have been way worse of a result because he grounded into a double play with 2 on and 1 out and then flew out with 2 on and 2 out right before Aaron Nola got lit up. So, in my mind, Aledmus Diaz saved Nola from just getting blown up on in the second inning.
Hey, Ryan, have you talked about the Trea Turner signing yet? Or have we talked about the Trea Turner signing?
You go fire away, Tyler.
Fucking Phillies.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. How do you guys get Bryce Harper and Trea Turner?
Trea Turner, JT Realmuto, and Zach Wheeler showed up because Bryce Harper did. I'm thoroughly convinced.
Fair assumption.
But Harper said he wanted to come here. He wanted to come to Philadelphia. I guess the great fan base in Philadelphia, I don't know. I think we're kind of dickheadish sometimes, but
sometimes.
The great fan base of Philadelphia, players wanted to come here. So Harper showed up, and then everybody else just kind of followed suit. They're like, hey, that guy's pretty good.
Let's go play with him.
Turner was going to be a Philly. He wasn't really going to go anywhere else, so.
Yeah. That was a big sign there.
I'm fine. He was. It seemed like even if the Padres offered him the most money in the world, he was not going to anywhere else. So
I liked your theory on that, though. The fact that he probably didn't want to play with Tatis.
Well, yeah, and I should clarify. I don't think this was the biggest reason why Judge and Trea Turner didn't go, but I think there's a little bit in everybody's mind, hey, Tatis is kind of a one-man show, and the way he got yelled at by Manny Machado, who in his history is not he doesn't – his compass doesn't always point north. So, it's you got to be thinking Tatis is just kind of one of those rock and roll guys who just does drugs behind the scenes and no one wants to hang around him after a while.
Well, I hope
that's funny.
Very bad. Squad.
What?
Huh? Damn computer.
Yeah, right.
And we're back.
Okay, then whatever. Josh is host. Josh is host. He
You
knows the
damn
most.
right I am.
Yeah,
Because
go
you were
for it.
late. But
Yeah.
we are back. Thank you for continuing hanging out with us here on the 7th inning stretch. We had to lose Darren. He had some things to do, but if you caught in on the back 10 minutes of the last episode, Tyler decided to join in with us. We're still talking about winter meetings and wrapping up, and we're talking about, I think the next thing we're going to talk about is guys who are still available as free agents. So you guys have any comments, make sure you get into the chat. Let us know what you guys think. Tyler's got his hand up for some reason. I don't know
He's
why.
frozen.
Nope, he was frozen.
Yeah. So like I think the number one is, like I said earlier, the number one is Carlos Correa. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but the Dodgers kind of threw their fans under the bus. They were like, "Oh, we're not signing Carlos Correa because we don't think that our fans will accept him." And I was like, once he starts hitting, they're gonna accept him just fine. I think that was kind of bullshit, and they were just kind of trying to find an excuse not to spend as to why they weren't spending money this offseason. But that's just me. Where does Carlos Correa fit? Because it feels like there's only like a niche place where he can actually fit.
Chicago.
It's got to be somewhere where he's not going to have the pressure of being the number one guy for a franchise, or at least like that written into the plan. Like I could still see him going to Baltimore, but Baltimore would very obviously have to, make other signings, make a bigger splash than Correa at some point in the very near future, just to stabilize that franchise. But he can't, like you said earlier, he can't really be like the guy, or else your team's not really going to go that far.
Yeah. It's kind of funny though, because last year he signed a $35 million deal, and this year he opted out, and now he's probably going to actually lose money on this deal. It seems like he's going to make less money than he did. Just
Wasn't
because
his deal in Minnesota a 2-year deal?
It was a 3-year deal, but they were all option years.
Yeah.
So he should have stayed one more year, opted out, and waited for the shortstop market to be.
Well, the thing is that it was a perfect year, but Trea Turner just kind of went below market value on everything, and that kind of screwed everything else up. But I think Scott Boras wouldn't let, because he switched agencies, and so last year, and so the reason why he opted out was also because he wanted Scott Boras wanted to make more money, and it was this whole thing, and that was why he opted out, and that's why he took a short year deal. That's why he took so many opt-outs and all that crap. But anyways, where do you think he's going?
Well, I know who will come in second, and that's the San Francisco Giants.
You think they would go after him though?
Absolutely. They need to get more athletic. They're so unathletic. They're so Carlos Correa would be a perfect fit. As far as him, his personality, wanting to not be the main guy, maybe that wouldn't fit. But as far as his skill set, he'd fit that team perfectly, because he can run, he can hit, he can play defense, and he's athletic. And with no more shifts going on, you're going to need more athletic guys, and this Giants team is very unathletic.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think?
I don't know. It's so hard to say because there have been some surprise spenders this offseason. Like I said, the Angels shocked the hell out of me that they're selling their team and spending. That doesn't make any sense. I could see him going to Chicago, the Cubs. I could see him going to the north side there. I still like Baltimore. I think they need to do something. You can't come, within 2 games of getting a wild card spot and then just kind of sit on your hands. So,
Well, they got Kyle Gibson, so they're set.
Okay, so now we project them 4 games back of a wild card spot instead of actually improving this year.
Yeah.
So,
would it not be funny if he ended up in Miami?
What was that, Josh?
I said, wouldn't it be funny if he ended up in Miami?
As a Phillies fan, no, because Miami's been a thorn in our side for like 10 years. I can't stand that team.
Well, they've retooled that whole team. Skip Schumacher got hired as their GM, and he's bringing in all former Cardinals coaches.
Just as long as he doesn't bring in John Jay to trigger the shit out of me from Game 5 in 2011.
He's throwing out the first pitch.
God, against the Phillies, dude, I would rage out. I was like, we're going to lose 1-0.
But I mean,
yeah, right. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I think Miami's got something going around.
You think so? I don't. That it just doesn't seem like they're trying to be very competitive. That's the thing.
I agree with you, but if they did that, they could have some draw. I mean, you think about it this way: Florida doesn't have any state income tax, so you're going to make more money in Florida. They have good young talent down there with Jazz Chisholm, Sandy Alcantara. They've got a new manager. They're bringing in a new coaching staff. That team has potential to be something, and they like to play spoiler on teams from time to time. You bring in a guy like Carlos Correa, you go pick up a couple upper mid-level signings in the offseason. You've got a team that can not win their division, but they could be in the running for a wild card potentially, depending on what other teams do during the season. And then you're on your way to getting better and better. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he'll go there, but I think it would be a very interesting show if he did.
Can I ask a question real quick? What are your guys' thoughts on Carlos Correa as a whole? What's the stat line you would predict is a generic, doesn't matter what stadium he's playing in, you put them all together? What's his stat line?
Like a 270 hitter, like 330, 340 OBP. He's not big on walking, but he can hit like 25 home runs if I had to throw a dart at a board, and then probably like an 830 OPS.
He had 22 home runs last year, 64 RBIs, which just doesn't matter because you're playing for the Twins. 366 on base, 834 OPS and a 140 OPS plus.
Ryan was on it.
Damn.
So what type of contract is it? This is going to get you. This guy's going to get a decent contract. It's not going to be like some.
No.
Brandon Nimmo is bringing in 8 years, 162.
I think Correa ends up between Bogarts and Turner in that $2 million gap that there is.
You think he's ending up lower than? I mean, yeah, I agree that he should get less money than Turner, but at the same time, the Cardinals, and I wanted to bring this up earlier, but something happened. But I think the Cardinals went into the winter meetings thinking, listen, we can make a push for Trea Turner later or a shortstop later. Right now, we just have to focus on a shortstop or a catcher. And then
And they got the wrong one.
Well, hold on. That's a Cardinals Chronicles. But then, Trea Turner signed in the morning or in the afternoon, and then everybody started losing their minds. And then right then and there, they started switching all their focus on a shortstop, which was Dansby Swanson. And I think a lot of people thought they would have more time in the shortstop market because, Trea Turner. Me, Ryan, and everyone on here thought Xander Bogaerts was not going to sign first. Carlos Correa was not going to sign first. And Trea Turner was really not he shouldn't sign first. We thought this was going to go all the way at least until January. So the fact that it got done in the second day of winter meetings through a whole thing. So all that trying to say is I think there's becoming an urgency to sign a shortstop because now two of the biggest names are off the market. And so now not the Angels, but the Cubs are involved. The Cardinals are somewhat involved. Who else was there?
Hopefully the Giants are involved in something.
The Giants are involved in something. The
Just to get
Mariners
in
were
second.
kind of in there. There are some teams, even the Yankees to a certain extent are somewhere in here. And so I think that's going to kind of bring a market value up on Carlos Correa. And so I think he's kind of he's a solid, consistent hitter who is great defensively. And I think they're going to love that, which is why I had him going to the Phillies, because he was a defensive stability in a very non-defensive team.
Bro, do you see our defense? We don't care about defense.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying you would upgrade on defense. No.
Ryan, can I say I fucking
Pitching
hate
lost them. You hate the what?
the Phillies.
Oh.
They're gonna be good, and it hurts my feelings.
Hey, when I was growing up, we had that little run for like 5 years of homegrown players. Now it's our turn to just be the fucking Yankees, I guess.
I'll never forget the Jonathan Sanchez starting a little fighting game, whatever that was, to turn around that series.
Yeah,
But
I respected Sanchez, but I hated him after that.
So yeah. Josh, who else? Like, speaking of the Marlins, they are talking about how they think Pablo Lopez is going to get traded. Do you guys have an idea of where you think he's going?
Trading to the Cardinals for Steven Matz, Dakota Hudson,
Yeah,
and
Harrison
Matthew
Bader,
Liberatore.
Matt
Harrison
Carpenter.
Bader's Yankee, dumbass.
I know. That's what I'm
Barber's
saying.
Yankee.
That's what I'm saying. All
I
those,
mean, if
all
he is
the young
available
kid
for
for the
trade,
fan.
he's probably the best starting pitcher out there on the market.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely better
Oh,
than
yeah.
Rodon.
is he better than Rodon?
I
yeah.
would say
I-
so.
I would
Rodon
take
kind
him
of
before Rodon because of age.
I would disagree. Watching Rodon this year really impressed me. I think Rodon might go on one of those injury sprees if he gets signed to a long-term deal. But for
Yeah.
1 year, if you have
Right.
one of them, take Rodon.
Is that why he's not getting signed? Is because he wants like what, a 6-year deal, and they only wanted to give him like a 3-year deal?
He wants
think-
Scott Perez to do his work for him.
Yeah. I gotta look that up. Josh, where? Oh
Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Tyler, because I was trying to think of what question I was going to ask Josh right there.
I just see Rodon in New York at the Yankees. I think he's going to go to the Yankees.
Well, it seems
That's
like
what
they're
I
more
think too,
interested
yeah.
in Senga. That Senga pitcher, the Japanese guy.
Well, did you hear the
got
one
signed today.
Japanese dude just signed with Boston?
Boston, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked him. I didn't know that he kind of made a big splash whenever he said, "Oh yeah, I'm coming to the majors," and then he got picked up pretty quickly. I think he's going
I
to
thought
be
the Cardinals
something
might
cool.
pick him up just because the Cardinals like to go with those Asian guys from Japan and Korea and whatnot.
No, they like to go with the mid-level guys. That's why they got
Well,
Suwano and Kwang Young Kim.
Hey, Boston
Look, I
has
feel
a
like
Okay, we
me
can.
and you feel each other's pain.
Boston has a history. They went out and got Daisuke.
What was that?
Boston has a history of going and getting those Japanese guys. They went out and got Daisuke, and they had a Deki Okajima for a while.
Yuhara too, but he was a pitcher. That I think that's going to be interesting. I wonder what that Yoshida guy's like mind thought, or like what he was thinking whenever he signed with the Red Sox. Like, I'm going to have to hit over that fucking wall now, or maybe he thinks of it as great challenge.
The Great Wall of China, Great Wall of Boston.
Okay,
Do you think he wondered where the Paul Revere trail was?
he probably doesn't give two fucks about Paul Revere.
Where did he hang those lamps at?
Yeah, right.
Logan's like, what lamps? I don't know what lamps you're talking about.
One if by air and two if by sea or whatever that stuff.
Yeah, sure, man. The
yeah,
Brits
since they had
back in
planes back
the
then.
1700s were coming with an air raid.
Yes.
Napalm incoming.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, baby.
Bringing T-bombs. Anyways.
Oh.
Moving on.
T-bombs, that wasn't bad.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll be here all night.
Since you were late to the party, you do have to be.
Hey, I don't think I reintegrated, but at least your GM isn't Joe Biden. To get back.
I wonder what baseball trade values had that one on at valued.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hop on
is at 6 and
hop on MLB The Show. I'll let you know what they say in a second.
Yeah, right.
That was like Arenado. I can't even say his name right now. Arenado to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
One-sided as it comes.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. This whole thing is gone off the handles. Are you guys surprised that you haven't heard anything from Joey Gallo?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, Bellinger got a deal before Gallo did. That kind of surprised me.
That's true.
I don't know where he would go. It seems like it's going to be the Cardinals, and I hate that.
No.
Oh,
speaking of mid-level guys.
Yeah. Which kind of made me laugh because I texted Jason, our Dodger fan friend, and I said they're dumpster diving like the Cardinals did last year. And anyways, but Joey Gallo.
Did you see the Dodgers just signed Jason Hayward on a minor league contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one, like getting Shelby Miller and Jason Hayward, it's like the one-hit wonders from the last 10 years. Remember?
Can you imagine looking back on
the
Shelby Miller for Dansby Swanson trade and be like, that's a good deal?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and like Jason Hayward was supposed to be like such a highly touted prospect, like the LeBron James. Like they were following him since he was like 15 years old or something.
Oh yeah, dude. Braves fans thought he was the next Andrew Jones when he came to the majors, dude. It was.
I mean, he technically did turn into Andrew Jones.
Yeah, well, at least Andrew Jones waited until he was 30 to fall completely off the face of the earth.
15 years too early.
Yeah, right. But yeah, but Joey Gallo, like, I kind of expected the Rangers to go after him, but it seems like they're disinterested in that. Maybe Joey Gallo could go to the Giants. That kind of makes sense to me now.
That makes perfect. You're making too much sense, Logan. You're hurting me.
Listen, I try to make sense
You're
here,
making
but like
way too much.
He's such a good defender, and
exactly. They'll sell us on his defense. They'll strike out 800 times, and we'll be like, "Come to the ballpark. It's beautiful."
It's so sad. Like Joey Gallo's like probably one of the better athletes considering like his size. Like he's just such an athlete, and he just can't hit a baseball worth of shit.
Yeah, that's it's disappointing.
But if he does, it'll go 420 feet.
Yeah, if he hits it, I mean, let me know like every 6th game or so. I'll post up in McCovey Bay, or McCovey Cove, so that way I can go catch his home run ball.
I'm getting depressed.
Yeah, right.
You're a Giants fan. You're always depressed.
The Bellinger thing.
Hey, I remember Game 6, Barry Zito against.
Oh, okay, that's just hurtful.
Barry Zito, dude. Wow.
He threw the first shot.
I saw a documentary on like the worst contracts ever signed, and it was like the Giants signing Barry Zito, and I forgot just how bad he was for the Giants that entire contract. And then 2 fucking games. Anyways, no. Bad, Tyler. Trying to bring me down with you right now. With that 2012.
I was on my way down on my own, and someone had to bring up negative.
Gosh, that hurts. But yeah, Bellinger. I don't know. Have you guys talked about Bellinger?
No.
No, so that's kind of an interesting thing. Like I was saying, like that's probably the best deal for him. Going on a 1-year contract to the Cubs because Wrigley Field is a very hitter friendly park. The wind's going to help you out, which is going to help you out in your confidence. And they're kind of in a division race, but they're not unless they get Carlos Correa. Then they're full speed ahead. But like that's interesting to me for him. Like I don't think it's anything to the Cubs, but for him, I think that's a big deal. Like out of all the places that would have worked for him, I think like that would have been the top choice. That or the Reds, I honestly think. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, actually, now that you say the Reds would have made a lot of sense. But I do for Bellinger, I do like the 1-year deal. 17.5 is probably a little bit on the heavier side, but that just seems to be the way the contracts are going. That and you're kind of paying for the name there. But he needs to find a way to turn it around. So I think Wrigley was a good spot. I probably would have gone Cincinnati. Now that you say that, a little bit of a launching pad out there in Great American, so it boosts those numbers a little bit for next offseason. But yeah, I like this for Bellinger, and I'm just like the big name dudes. I'm kind of surprised that there was interest in him like this so early in the offseason.
Yeah. Well, he's got so much potential too, but like, yeah, $17 million. That's way too much for Cody Bellinger right now.
Another great athlete that just all of a sudden can't fucking hit the ball.
Yeah. It's hard to do whenever you're stoned out of your gourd every night. Tyler, what do you think of Bellinger?
I actually like the signing for the Cubs. I think it gives, like, at worst, he's going to be a Gold Glove defender in center field. He's not, as far as hitting goes, he definitely has holes in his swing. But I would have taken him on the, maybe not for $17.5 million. That's a little steep, but I like Bellinger as a player. I think maybe because he hit that double to win the series against the Giants. But I like Bellinger. I don't think he's like the greatest player of all time. I don't think he's going to put you over the top, but as the Cubs, he's a great player to add before you add like a Carlos Correa or a Dansby Swanson.
Yeah. Josh?
Just like most of the other guys right now, way overpaid. 1-year prove-it deal. I like that, though. He's betting on himself, taking the early money and not waiting until all the money's gone and nobody can pay him. I think it was smart on his part, to be honest. We'll see what happens. I'm going to like beating him up during the regular season.
You knock on some wood there, Josh. Will you stop doing that?
I about
Jameson?
almost every prediction I had last year except the World Series.
Jameson Taillon getting 4 years, $68 million.
My Yankee friend was laughing his ass off. He was like, I can't believe Jameson Taillon is getting paid that kind of money right now.
Where'd he go?
Cubs. He signed with the Cubs, and I mean the Cubs had a pretty productive underrated winter meetings. And so Jameson Taillon getting him, I mean, I think I was telling my Yankee friend, I said, if he starts like turning into a number one guy, I think the Yankees need to fire their pitching coach because Cole went kind of bad whenever he joined the Yankees. And then Jordan Montgomery turned into like the greatest ace of all time whenever he joined the Cardinals for about 5 minutes. And then now if Taillon like just does better, then I think that's going to be ridiculous. But I think he's a solid guy. Tyler?
I like James. I don't know about James. I'm just talking about as far as like Garrett Cole, you could blame that on the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
The Jordan Montgomery, the Cardinals always figure out guys who are like mid-tier pitchers. That's one thing that's great about the Cardinals, as much as you probably as a fan don't respect as much someone who isn't a fan, like realize like, wow, they always figure something out, like how they get these people out. And then who was the third guy you mentioned on the Cardinals?
Montgomery?
No, maybe it was another Yankee.
Taillon.
I mean, Tyon. I
Oh.
didn't even know he was a starter. I still thought he was a middle reliever.
Oh. Yeah, no, there
And it
was.
seems like an absurd contract. I would not have signed him to that contract.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Jameson.
yeah.
Jamison Tyone was weird. Josh, do you have any thoughts on that one? What do you think of the Cubs winter meetings, Josh?
I think they did better than the Cardinals. I mean, I think they've been
Sassy to the
sneaky good. This winter meetings. If I was a Cubs fan, I would be fairly pleased with what's going on. Contreras obviously didn't like what he was getting offered in Chicago, and it seems like he wanted out. Probably go play for a World Series instead of playing in a rebuilding organization. So, I mean, that's the one thing he wanted coming into St. Louis because St. Louis is typically always there. But if I was a Cubs fan, I'd at least say, hey, we're on the right path forward to get back to where they were in, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
Did we lose Tyler?
Yeah, he lost service. So, who do you think had the best winter meetings this week?
Phillies.
You can
Phillies
be biased.
by a long shot. Phillies by a long shot. I mean, I don't think anybody else has been close.
I would say
Yankees saved their rear getting Judge back.
other teams had good winter meetings, but like the Phillies definitely did have the best. Like I think Houston had a pretty good winter meeting. I think getting Jose Abreu for them was a good signing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the Phillies and the Cubs really impressed me this year or this week. Is there anything else we need to talk about, you think? Or
So
How
I
about-
have a question.
okay.
How about Jock Peterson accepting his qualifying offer despite his best year of his career?
I guess he likes doing that nomad thing. Like just going
He
it
loves
by
it.
year and just taking it however he wants. Like I thought he would have probably gotten some money, like $25 a year.
Well, looking at the Nimmo contract, I'm sure he's kicking himself in the ass right now.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess he likes what
for
the
sure.
Giants are doing. So
I mean, so my question is, and this is going to probably be out of left field. You guys probably haven't thought about it. Have we seen the end of Chapman?
no, Phillies are about to sign him.
Hey, you stop that. You stop that right now.
You know it fits.
No.
No, it doesn't. He does not fit at all. He's a cancer. He's a fucking prick. Do you think what he did to the Yankees about not showing up to the postseason practices, whatever it was, whatever it's classified as, do you think that could be possibly the end of his career?
Yeah, I
With his
think
age?
I think there's a very good possibility. What's he like 36, 37? He's got to be at least in his mid 30s
I
by
thought he
now.
was closer to 40. I thought he was closer to 40.
But yeah,
thought he was
I actually think
37,
that his career is over. I mean, it's not really much of a talent issue. Granted, he's not what he was when he first came from Cuba, but age will do that to you.
34 years old.
Yeah, and people will
man.
always need bullpen arms, but I think that sent off a really bad message, and I don't think anybody's going to invest the money that he's going to want to have him on their team.
I sure wouldn't.
I feel like someone is going to try to pay him, and it's going to be like some weird team. I'm sure the Angels might do something.
Baltimore.
The Red Sox.
Red Sox. I don't know. Because he's going to do some he had a weird 2 years with the Yankees. But I mean, you still remember he throws over 100 miles an hour, and he's just still whenever he's on. He's a dominant guy. Well, maybe the Reds will come back and be like, "Oh yeah, we want you back." I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Career with us.
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
I think this year he's going to sign a contract with someone, maybe the Angels, someone that's not going to be very good. He's going to do lights out work, and then he's going to get traded at the middle of the season, and then everyone's going to forget about it.
Contender.
Yeah, that's my thought. Is he's going to go to a shitty team, and that's it. Then get traded to the Phillies.
Stop. Do not put that evil on us, Ricky Bobby.
Oh gosh, that's good. But yeah,
Man.
quickly.
What do you guys think Dansby
go.
Swanson's up?
I still think the
Like,
Cardinals.
legit, where do you think he goes?
I think the
I
Cardinals.
don't think so. I don't think they're going to spend the money.
I still think he goes to LA. I think the Dodgers need a shortstop.
Most definitely.
It sounds like did you I don't know if it was on The Athletic or where it was, but there was a story that was like they didn't pay Trevor Bauer last year and they spent that money, so they're having to back pay him. So they owe him like $86 million right now.
Wow.
That's
And
a lot of money.
like there's a whole bunch of shit like they're going through right now. And it's kind of like everything hit the fan once. Like they have a lot of money, but they kind of overextended themselves right then. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
When is Trevor Bauer due to come back?
Next year.
I was about to
End
say,
of
I
next
think it's after
Well, yeah, the
2023.
opening day of like 25 then. Because it's a
Who knows what
2-year.
he can be at that point.
I think it's 2024, like May 2024, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think that's right, actually. So I thought it was 2 years from this year.
Yeah.
So it'd be 24. And where does Bassett end up? Or did he sign somewhere and I missed it?
No, he didn't sign anywhere yet. I thought he was going to be a Philly, but since they signed Taijuan Walker, that's probably out of the equation.
I like Chris Bassett, but I don't know. I guess he's gonna want too much money.
Well, the longer they hold out, the less money they'll take.
Yep.
It's
so hard to predict where the pitchers are going to go because like every team needs pitching. Like there's nobody that's just like, yep, we're good. Like he could go back to the Mets.
Very well. Could. I mean, they're pretty well set now, but I mean, he could.
I mean, money is not a real object to them. So
It sounded like it. They were kind of hit. They were kind of hit too. They were so far over the luxury tax. I think you tweeted about
Dude,
that.
they're going to be near $400 million on opening day.
Oh, here's something
Barring
I
no
wanted to
major
talk
changes.
about. Look, fans, I love you guys, but the Phillies are not spending $1 billion this year. They do not have $1 billion in player payroll this year. When they like John Boy Media, they put out that meme that, or not meme, but that thing that said Phillies have a $1 billion thing and they or payroll, and someone was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're spending all this money this year." And I'm like, no. They're not spending $1 billion this year. It's all together. That's Trea Turner, Schwarber, and Harper, and all those guys together. And I'm like,
Castellanos, Romuto, Nola, Wheeler.
yeah, I'm like, no, stop it. And it drove me crazy because everyone was like, and what this just shows how expensive baseball is becoming. I'm like, shut up. Anyway, so that's all I really have to say about it.
Jesus.
I saw that the other day and I was like, come on, guys.
But yeah,
show a little bit of brain
I
cells.
know what tweet you're talking about. I think the Mets are going to pay like 90% tax on every dollar that they've spent because of how far they are over the luxury tax or something like that.
And you look at their team, they spent all their money on Scherzer and Verlander, and then Lindor,
And then
and
Nimmo.
and then Nimmo,
and then Diaz. Diaz got
Diaz is
5 for 102.
Yeah, Diaz got that huge contract.
Quintana's at
For a
$13
reliever.
million a year.
Yeah. That's another thing we'll talk about on Cardinals Chronicles, where I think that's presented a huge problem. Never seen Cardinals Twitter turn on Adam Wainwright so quickly.
Screw
But-
you, Adam. You were supposed to retire, you old bitch.
Well, yeah, I haven't told Josh this theory yet, but I think the Cardinals were not wanting to pay him this year, but they knew if he said, I'm coming back for one more year, the fans would not let the Cardinals live it down if they didn't give a contract to Wainwright. And so I think last year.
That's why he's getting deferred money for the next 10 years.
Well, I was saying, I think last year they were lumping him in with the retirement party of Pujols and Yachty, and they were like, okay, come on. Okay, Wayno, you
Just
ride
kinda
out into the
forcing it.
sun with your friends, your best friends. Come on, Timmy. And so that's my thought.
That's the way it should have gone down, in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah.
100%.
And now, Wainwright's coming back, and that kind of threw a whole. I guarantee that totally fucked up the entire Cardinals plan. And anyways, we'll talk about that more on Cardinals Chronicles on Wednesday, I think. Right? Is it Wednesday or Monday?
Oh, well, we're hoping Wednesday.
Yay!
I still don't have a computer yet.
Yeah, that's coming. Anyways, I think we're gonna end the show soon because we've been going on for about 2 hours, and Josh needs to go home to take his nap.
No, we've been going on for about 2 hours. You have been going
We've
on
been
for
on about an hour.
Anyways, I love you guys. Thanks for coming. Any last thoughts? Josh, do you have any words of wisdom to go before we kick the bucket?
Have a fantastic rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Get your Christmas shopping done now so you're going to rush around and do it in a week and a half. Live every day like it's your last because you never know when things will come to an end.
Okay, then. Ryan.
That was inspiring.
It was, and then with a very scary undertone.
I'm just going to follow up by telling you can find me on Twitter at BSing_sports. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, BSing Sports Podcast. Pretty self-explanatory there for that one. And ring the bell, baby. Going back.
Yeah, go Phillies. I am so glad I decided to go to a winning team that actually cares about putting a competitive team on the market.
For like 10 years, it was not that way. It
The
was a
Phillies,
lot of suffering and
the Phillies seriously need to just change their name to Logan's Dream Team because they have Real Muto, Taiwan Walker, Trea Turner, Bryce Harper.
Come to the dark side, Logan.
Listen, I was strongly thinking about it. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to the Phillies. I'm joining BSing Sports, and we're going to do the Phillies show together.
I'm going to cut that part, and I'm going to send it to Brandon.
Yeah.
He's going to fire your ass.
He will fire me only in about 2 years. But anyways, Ryan, you want to plug your show? Speak of the devil.
Yeah, at BSing_sports on Twitter. You can find the link to our website there. It has our YouTube channel and Apple Podcasts and Spotify, BSing Sports Podcast. We have new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday because it's football season. We'll slow down a little bit when the Super Bowl's done.
Yep. Josh, I love you. I missed you. We don't talk anymore.
You too, buddy.
Yeah.
It's the off season. I was trying to give you a break.
It is. So 7th inning stretch will be coming back on the regular. I don't know if it's going to be on Mondays or Fridays anymore, but during the
We'll
off
let you
season.
know when we figure it out.
But I have decided that the next episode is going to be about the fucking baseball dirt. Yeah. It's a passion project of mine that I've been waiting to do on an episode. It's about the baseball mud that you coat the baseballs with, and it kind of gives you a little bit of grip. It's from a certain part in America that no one knows about except for this one family, and it's fucking awesome.
If you've listened to our show long enough, you've heard about this briefly in the past.
Yeah.
But it was very, very brief lead. Logan's going to give us the full story.
Yeah. So fun stuff. I will see you guys next time. Where's the fucking out? Oh, there it is. Live long, watch them day baseball. Peace out, motherfucker.